Morning Scrum with Govind Davis.
Okay, I don't even know if this is actually streaming here. Okay, here it is. It is. I messed something up, but it actually, I think it's working. So, yeah, today, I'm getting back to it. Actually, what I'm going to try to do with this one, I tried to go live from OBS on LinkedIn and realized it doesn't go to YouTube. And also, like, the setup with LinkedIn is super fragile. It uses like a RMTP, and if it like drops or anything, it's really fragile. And so I think the idea with LinkedIn for this is going to be like record the show and then turn it into like I'm going to see if I can figure this out later today, how to take this show and then send it to LinkedIn just as like a pre-recorded event, right? Like not, and there might be some ways I can even trim out the junk, like clean it up. But I don't know. I mean, how much processing you want to do for something that nobody's going to watch? It's hard to say, but you never know. Like it might be worth a little bit of effort. So, we'll see. The and so today what I'm going to do is focus on, now that I'm kind of getting back to this, doing the morning scrum, like figuring it out. It's, I'm like, okay, I need to record. I need to start producing content every day. What does this look like? And today this is all about Penny, and because that yesterday I was working on the website and finishing some little things and just showing some, like I did a really short thing just to kind of get back online. And I'm like, okay, I finished all those little things on the website, and the last thing is Penny. And I'm actually just going to show this. I think it's easier to actually just show and show what's going on here. So, actually, this is my OBX runner and OBS runner. So this is, Penny. This is in the website. This is her like VRM character, and what what I want to go into before I actually get too far into uh, what's going on with Penny. Actually, how did this? I see. Okay. Oh no, she's already switched. I see, because I'm in. There it is. Now I know why this happened. So I'm in Wave here with Penny, and that's why it switched. But if I go here, okay, let me go to President 1. I'm going to try something here while I'm at it. So this is going to be presentation window, and I'm going to set that up for local prod. Okay, well, that's weird. So it switches right here, and that's because it's called presentation window. Like I need two, because it switches without switching scenes. I can actually have this up though. Anyway, it's fine. So this is actually the planner for Penny, but I have a planner for this website. I was like, okay, and this is something I showed a little bit, but to me this is like one of the most valuable things I created. Right, it's like hooking up Claude to in a workspace with like a visual planner, like a sort of sandboxed and persistent knowledge base about my strategic conversations. And they're all connected to like, let's call it a project or like a space, like a workspace essentially. Like, okay, this is my website. And am I going to go back and, you know, keep this up to date? I don't know, but it was like as a thought exercise and getting things out it was hugely helpful. And this is where I got to this thing was like, what am I missing on the website? And because I had, I gave Susie access to the site so she could see everything, like get a full view of like what I'm trying to accomplish, and it came up with really awesome ideas about this kind of the whole like privateering theme and all these different things. And it was like, okay, well, you need a killer penny, right? And so so I was like, all right, let me start building that. And that's when I went down this like complete rabbit hole, in many on so many different dimensions of getting into this, animated character basically. Like, how do I create this like 3D puppet? And I don't really want a talking head. I want a person. I want Betty to be a person. And you can see she's doing all these cool things now, and and so I need to take this to the next level, right? And I actually want to test something here. So, okay, there's this tavern music, and I think I need to go here and put capture audio. I Oh, YouTube is not responding now. Great. Hmm. Okay, here we go. It's working. But I just actually kind of wonder if maybe after this I'm just going to record and then I'm going to, like, the whole live thing is just maybe not even worth it after a while. Like, okay, YouTube's not even getting this. Does it actually matter? Just getting an error again. Yeah, I think that's it. It doesn't really matter though, because I'm gonna have this all recorded. It just feels like better to be like going live, but maybe I just don't care. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch this later and think about how I produce this. No, I think this is a key thing. I do think that this idea of going live isn't working very well. Like, I need to do the shows, and then I need to just distribute them. I mean, trying to go live when I have crappy bandwidth isn't going to work. So, but yeah, let's go deep into Penny here. So here's Penny. We can talk to Penny, and she just feels too big here doing it. I don't know, or something. Anyway, I'm gonna spend time on this today, and so I have a couple setup items here that matter. And the first thing I'm going to do actually is, before I dig into more about Penny, is we'll go back to the app and go back to Penny's board. So I have three things I'm kind of captain's ring. Okay, so the idea that I have is to create this like captain's chart, right? Where so Penny's gonna be like, I have a treasure map, I have this captain's chart, and it's the chart reinforces, the eight factor stuff. So it has like the ocean, it has different components on it. I've already been through a bunch of this chatting here. Like a lot of text, right? I'm not going to get into it. Trade wins. It has the directions, right, from the 8-factor chart that I do for people. It's this sort of like strategic map of like bringing together Caribbean, like where are we in the AI world, like what's going on. So, I mean, this is so deep that I need to like figure out, like I just need to see it built and see what happens at this point. And so, there's a whole spec here, and I'm just going to take this spec from Claude and be like, okay, I kind of got it. Um, the yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, I can't read through and overthink all this. So, I'm actually going to have this. Let's consolidate all of this into a single handoff spec that I can hand to Codex and have it build. So this is actually it's a new thing I'm trying, but I've been doing it for a little bit, and I'm going to tell you this. Like, the worst, some of the worst, most frustrating experience I've had is when I like unforced errors, having two different AI work in the same project on the same roles. So like having Claude create plans, handing them to Codex to build and deploy, fine. Having Claude build something and Codex build the other thing, and Claude accidentally deploys it somewhere. The number of times I go back and I look back and I'm like, even making the mistake essentially of having the same AI working on the same thing sort of at the same time, it's just it's like, can you do it? Yes. Are there people who are probably doing this intelligently? Yes. Can you also completely like ruin half a day? Absolutely. Right? Like having Claude create specs, handing them off to Codex to build it, like super solid. Say, I mean, you can still run into other issues in this, but that's a pretty good way to go. And I had like this idea. I was like, I got Claude on the left side, the left brain, and Codex. I started working on it. Claude builds, a server in a different environment, files going everywhere. It's like, you don't know what's happening. Everything's breaking. Back to Codex, rebuild everything, clean everything up, get everything up to speed, all in the same space, So I'm just going to say this. Use Claude, use Codex, use both, use them in cahoots with each other, but just don't let them step on each other's toes, or you will probably wish that you had not. So anyway, like this is a pretty deep thinking thing here. So this is like probably, Claude Opus 4.7, deep thinking, like highest level intelligence. It's going to take create a whole spec for what we're going to build, and then I'm just going to pop that into Codex and see what happens, right? I think I'm going to prime it a little bit to say, hey, let's not break anything. Like this is going to be a big, complicated last piece of stuff because there's a lot involved. It's like Command Central, Susie's memories, RAG and Jet. What does she know? Building this output. Like, to me, this is like, the most, I don't want to say the most complicated thing because there's other things that have like just getting this VRM thing to work for Susie was just super hard. But now putting it all together so that it's like a final experience here is going to be, it's going to be interesting, and it's probably going to take me too long. I'm not going to just like sit and record the whole time here. So, but I'm going to actually focus just on this like spec handoff piece because I think it's valuable, right? And, while I'm at it, just talk about like, okay, what's going on with this strategy board? Why this to me is like super, again, it's really one of the most valuable things that I feel like I built out of this whole entire process is, first I'm a visual person, and so I like to see things. It helps me break it down and visualize. But I also realized that like we're working AI works like really well with text and and communicating. Like it can write just gazillions of like details about things that I could just never really get to the bottom of, right? So a lot of times I'll have it be like, hey, tell me the same thing in like under 200 words. Like I'm an architect, give me the spec, and then I'm like, okay, because I'm not going to read through this and figure out every detail, right? If you spend all that time to figure all this out, you just can't. But you want the documentation, and you want the more documentation you create about it, the better, right? And the more you kind of look and say, hey, is this aligned with where we're going? You know, interactive chart. You know, this is going to make it a lot easier to build for, you know, and to figure out like it's got shifts and you know, all these different things in here, right? And so it's going to create this really rich experience. Is it going to be exactly what I thought? No, it's going to be something really interesting, and then I'm going to fix all the weird little things, and then you're kind of done. So anyway, this one is thinking for quite a while. I do have an alert system here, so I'm actually just going to pop out of there, and I am going to change this. I need to do a better job here, so I'm just going to actually pop back into Codex, and I want to see. I'm assuming this is going to work, but I'm not sure. Actually, I'll have to go back and check it. When I use Whisper, is it going to record what I say, or do I need to have the Whisper app? It might mute it. We'll see. So, what we need to do is get ready to work on Penny and do some fairly deep work. And so I want to get set up to do this. The first thing we should probably do is create some kind of fork or like branching here so that if we break things with Penny, we can easily roll back or fix them. So yeah, one of my like big things is like, you know, strategic laziness, like zero work. Like in order to really get a lot of productivity, you cannot be typing a lot. I mean, you can sit here and type. You're gonna kill yourself. Okay, so he has this alert. You can't actually see it. You might have heard the little bell whistle, but I actually have like an alert that pops up and that's built into Command Central. So for these like long thinking things, and it's great. It just gives me a little toot. I have all the alerts, you know, wave. They're different sounds. Some of them are louder. You know, it's like things beeping at me all day long. And so yeah. So here's this Codex handoff, and let's see. Actually. Can you give me a URL for this file so I don't have to copy paste it? So I just need a link for that actual file and that big Codex handoff there. So this one I didn't really get that visual on. You can't see it now. You're back to on Penny here. So we'll pop back to her. Okay, yeah, it's still thinking here. So, you know, once you get these, you know, a little more longer winded, like it's funny because, you know, you don't know what's how long things are going to take when you give an AI command. Like some things that go like super fast, and you know you're bopping back and forth. And like how many of these can you know ADD yourself through? How many can you like multi-thread? You know you can't really multi-thread, but how many can you like juggle at the same time and be effective, right? So you know it gets to a point where sometimes I'm like, okay, let's not overdo this. Let's just do a certain amount of them. Like let's actually be focused or have different threads going on, so that I'm not like dev this, dev that, dev this, move, and it's like you can just get lost or make mistakes. And all right, so that's set up. Please study this specification. So it's just like, okay, Claude, we're going to think together in a structured environment. You're going to write a spec, and we're going to go now have Codex figure out, like, okay, how do I build this? Oh, yeah, it needs to find it probably. Oh, that's because it's in the planning boards. There's like so many weird things. Okay, Susie's sandboxed into a certain environment, so she doesn't have like the full WSL path layer understanding. Okay. Yeah, I think we need to put this inside when they're talking to Penny. That it has like a hardware channel at the top, and then we can have them chat with Penny. Penny can bring up some things on her board, and then uh, there needs to be a mechanism for they can say ask for the treasure map, and then she can sort of explain it, ask some questions, and then render the map as like a pop-up inside of her like chat like framing, and then from there they can view the map, interact with it, and then either kind of close it or download it. If they close it, it should almost be saved as like an openable artifact, so we're not regenerating it. So yeah, I'm gonna like continue this conversation here with this is with Codex. You can see it's hard, maybe not super easy to see. Actually, I'm only running GPT 5.5 medium. Um, it's much faster, and honestly, for me, like sometimes you think things are really complicated and they're not. Like, meaning it's like this is probably not that hard for AI actually, like at a technical level. And you're like, I want speed. It's probably 5.5 medium. I did feel like with like the high or the deep level of thinking for these, it literally just like takes a long time, and I don't know if I need that. Like, you have this idea, it's like, oh, if I use higher levels of thinking, I'll avoid mistakes, and that's not necessarily the case. I'm not sure. Like, I don't really know. It's like there isn't a manual that says here's how to use this, that, or the other. But I will say that, like, I read this a lot. People are like, hey, I go down to lower level, less complex LLMs or whatever, smaller LLMs. And if they're tuned for what you want to get done, then they don't need to be big, complicated LLMs. And I think that's, again, strategically, we're going to see a lot of that, right? Is like, I mean, even I look at it, I'm like, think about OBS, right? If you're OBS, what's the next thing you should do strategically? Now they're open source and all this stuff, but is your company like that? It's like, build the LLM that knows every single thing and is trained to do everything that you need to do inside of your super complex pro style like technical application, and make that available to people who can then describe what they want, and your like LLM will basically like do what's needed. And that's kind of a lot of what's behind MCP and all of this, right? It's like create your own little like lightweight intelligence around your app so that it makes it suddenly accessible, right? Like the whole that's for me, like, okay, now I'm running OBS, and a lot of the commands in OBS and things I just use AI to do it, right? I'm like connected up to YouTube or connected to LinkedIn, and it actually, like, for LinkedIn, it just did the connection and started, set everything up. So, these technologies become like super available once AI can interact and understand like their capabilities and features and like all the different things you can do inside of them. So, that's, yeah, here we go. Like, I'm just going to actually see, like, I'll hang out here, wait for Codex and see, like, because it's already cooking. It's like the chart component and sample reading are in place. You're like, okay, wow, this is like a super, like this is a big complicated thing, right? You're like, this would be, for me to even contemplate, right? This is like days and weeks for a developer just to even like, to create this thing, and so certain things you're like, wow, like when you do it right, you're just like, I'm gonna get this insane functionality, and it's not that bad. Now what happens, you bump into things, it's like it's always the new thing, right? So there's actually nothing really that new about this, right? So a lot of the pieces are in place. I'm not having to reinvent Penny. She's already got her personality things. She's already got her voice and her LLM configuration, and you're not starting from scratch with all these things. So that's kind of what it was saying.
Hey, welcome. I'm Penny Strategies Client Success Agent. Ask me anything.
That was wait, no, is this one actually? I don't know if this is so. Okay, this is also what you can get. You sit here now. It's still building, so I'm not going to really mess with it. Like, it probably, like, it just made some kind of like weird error. And also there's like a Penny thing. You can see there's going to be a bunch of debugging. Like, I will say this, like, it's going to break. Like, it's going to build this thing, and this is what most of AI work for me has become. It's like you spend a bunch of time kind of trying to get as like in a reasonable spec, build it, and then you're like, okay, like I got some kind of like close approximation of like what I was thinking usually, and then you spend a bunch of time pulling your hair out trying to get, you know, things to move around the screen. That's basically that's basically it, you know. And if it does a better job, it is funny. Like the AI can kind of see. And, you know, I would say that's usually the biggest challenge is if you're not writing code, you don't really know how to lay it, where everything lays out. And even if you do, if you're doing CSS and all these things, it's like a super pain to move this one little tiny thing. Or, you know, you have to come up with ideas about like, okay, so that you can, you know, dimensionally sort of encode where things are on the screen. And then you say, okay, make sure, okay, do you know what orientation this object is in, or this image, rotate it, like this is north, south, east, west. There's a bunch of things I've had to figure out to make this work, but it is like terminal MDX. Let's see, hold on. I'm just gonna actually tell it. Well, see, it's a build error, so it probably is gonna know about it and fix it. But I will put it in here and let it know that it's broken. Yeah, early on, I would spend a lot of time saying, "Oh, build there, build this or that," because I would just be doing things so often. I'd be like, you know, multiple terminals working on the same thing, you know, just, you know, not just spamming stuff all over the place. And this has gotten quite a bit better. I mean, I can go for long periods of time with this Next.js where it's like hot reloading, you know, not getting caching issues. You know, but if you think like, okay, you're gonna go build something with AI and it's just gonna all work perfectly, probably not. So anyway, let's okay, here goes. It's thinking, got the build error. Let's see if there's something I can do. There's a lot of times I do. You're like, okay, this is now it's yeah. Just found. Okay, here we go. She's back, and let's see. The first thing for me is just always like, okay, I want to see something. Like, you know, I want to see a button I can click, or, you know, what's the results of like all this work? And, you know, what's going to happen, right? I need to adjust my camera up here. It'll sit for a while. There we go. That's one of the things, you know, you're like, I'm not typing a bunch. I'm, you know, talking, I'm waiting. You're waiting a lot. AI, I'm waiting. And then you're trying to think like, what do I do? Do I wait or do I pop to something else? You know, while this is obviously taking a little while to build or whatever it is. Yeah, let me pop over to, this is a lot what I do now. It's like, okay, I'm waiting on codecs. I'm good here. Like, I don't really need to plan more about this. Focus on Penny. Oh, this had to rebuild too. Okay, yeah, there we go. Reloaded. Anyway, yeah, this had gives me. It's like, okay, I need to send my LinkedIn messages. Yes, I know. I'll get there. Website done. So yeah, we're on Penny. I don't even know what this is. I'm gonna actually add like a little punch list here on this while we're waiting. Let's see. Splash screen, text and buttons. Splash screen, bubble messages. AI moves or better. Yeah, I mean, while we're here, I mean, there's definitely like, there's a lot missing here. Accounts, pipeline, backend. This is where I need to look at. Oh, that goes into, okay, here's a knowledge base. This is where, okay. Yeah, so the codex just says, Hey, bro.
Hey, welcome. I'm Penny Strategies Client Success Agent. Ask me anything.
Alright, I gotta reload. Talk to Penny. Hey, Penny, I'd like to get a chart.
I can draw your chart. 8 stations. A few hazards. 1 heading. Give me a website. Or give me 2 plain sentences about the business. I'll read between the lines. Then I'll put the map on the board.
Oh, okay. Her voice got broken.
I have enough to draw the first chart.
Oh.
This is a dockside reading. Useful. Not final scripture.
This feels like surprisingly okay, this is actually pretty good as a starting point. Let's remove the whole harbor channel talk to Penny. That way it'll give it more space for her board and the chat. This should probably, for these kind of basic things, a lot of times they'll just hot reload. We can remove the voice on and close as well. Back will do the same thing as close. The board image area should always be 16:9 ratio. the chat entry area should be 2 lines tall. This is another thing that I do. I try not to put 2 commands. Oftentimes, if you put 2 different things in one command, it will finish one and not the other. That's like a thing about AI. And like if you say, okay, give a command, give a command, give a command, give a command, it each one has a separate line item. It'll generally get them all in. Instead of the P, we need to have the agent icon for Penny. It doesn't look like the image is actually 16 by 9 on the board. The image should be bigger so it actually fills that space, which means it's going to need to be taller. And then underneath the image, we need to have like maybe a little text description for what the image is, and then like possibly like a link or whatever. The thing I think we should consider is that Penny's board should basically be artifacts, so they should be like the last maybe 5 things that got produced. So it could be like, if it's like a link to an article, it could just be an article card. It could be a spotlight card. If it's a map, though, and the map should always be pinned. So like maybe if there's like 4 or 5 things that people checked, some of the older ones would drop off, but the map reference never would. So that way Penny's board becomes sort of like a short artifact history with the pinned map. So this is kind of like part of my process a lot, is like, okay, build it, and then you're like, wait a second, okay, what's going to happen? What am I doing here? Like, what are people going to experience? I mean, this may or may not work, right? I mean, I have to see, like, but you have to create something where people, like the whole idea on the front end is like people are going to come into this and then they're going to experience it, right? So I'm like iterating, prototyping basically super fast, trying it myself, and then I'm like, is this an appealing experience? Does this make sense to me? Does it create value? Is it easy to use? Are there wasted things on the screen? You know, all of those kind of factors. And so you know, and try to get it down to some kind of really simple, like easily understood user experience, right? Because if people come here and they don't know what to do, or they don't know how to interact, or it's too complicated, then you know, they can't understand the framework, then it's just not going to work out. So let's see if I can get to like a basic design, and then I'll probably wrap up because I'm going to get into like a lot deeper stuff. And it's like to get this to actually work, I'm like, there's going to be like tons of little changes. Like this is definitely hours worth of work. Like you know, AI is fast. You can build amazing things, but you can see there's a lot on this map. I really like the starting point. You can see how it's cool, like, you know, but there's a lot that of, you know, there's a lot of cycles that are going to have to go into making this work. So, but I like where it's headed, and I think this is gonna, yeah, this is gonna turn out like really, really kind of exciting. So, it broke. No. Anyway, I'm going to get to like some iteration point here. This is going to take a little bit. So let's see. We could pop over to OBS. Oh, that actually wasn't that bad. Penny, you're back. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back. You know, this is pretty straightforward, just lining up this text. I'm like, is this just too weird? Dancing around. I'm keeping it until I decide to fix it. There we go. Oh, look. It's got some missing weird dollar history. Okay. Let's always, whenever we go into Penny, if they haven't created a map, then always start with like a map, like a sample map on the board, and a message to say, don't, you know, make sure to ask me about getting your captain's reading, and a map of, you know, how to navigate the AI landscape. I think the main issue with recording while I'm doing all this, see, I need to figure out, hold on. Is there a way to create a present one and then a present two that has a presentation window, but it would be a different window? What's happening now is that when I try to create present two, it seems like it has the same presentation window, and I'm not sure how to change it. This is like me working at OBS now. This is Codex controlling OBS, so that actually part of, I think, the other issue is that like OBS is taking up a lot of my like system resources. Like I'm running at like pretty close to like 100% CPU. You can see that, and it's probably because of like, you're like, okay, I have two. Let's see. Can you create a present two that would be basically a duplicate of present one, but with the different presentation window? see this is done. It's hard to see, but I get a little bell. Ooh.
Hey, welcome. I'm Penny Strategies Client Success Agent. Ask me anything.
What's the best article to learn about your philosophy on AI?
Best starting point: a short read on how we actually work. Open the article and you'll see the 3 ways we engage. Hey, if you've got any other questions, just ask away.
In this case, she should open an article in the recent artifacts, and then there should be like those little dots each time there's a new artifact, so you can see that you can scroll between them or click to get to the other ones. We might even want to consider having some arrows at the bottom to move between them to make it obvious that there could be up to 5 or more artifacts. I manually moved the logo and the video in the other one, but it seems like you have them in the wrong locations. Can you figure out a way to replicate those positions properly? Yeah, it's funny. Okay, yeah, you can't see the OBS window, but the OBS created a pretty decent duplicate, but not quite right for presentation 2. Yeah, that's honestly one of the biggest challenges is getting things like visually, like getting things to look like what you expect. It's like, okay, control your OBS. Hey, add a bunch of stuff. Okay, it's there, but it's all over the place. And then like, do I move it manually? So what happens? I moved them manually, and I think it had its own background. So when I moved some things in OBS, it didn't know that I moved them. So when it duplicated it, it's not duplicating what's actually there. It's like duplicating its instruction for the scene, and I end up with like something not quite right. No, they're not right. I think something's off. Can you read the details of presentation 1 or like duplicate it more exactly? Because for some reason you're not getting this right. Yeah, like the AI is okay. Let's see what's happening here. Can you provide a link to one of the articles?
Best starting point: a short read on how we actually work. Open the article and you'll see the 3 ways we engage. Hey, if you've got any other questions, just ask away.
it's not actually showing the article in the artifact viewer, so that's not working. And she should also probably have like in her chat, like the way the map was added, kind of like a little card. I think she just has like some kind of default like article language, so that whole piece might not be working right. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack on like her, like, yeah, like the ideas are all there. It's just like, okay. And I knew this was going to be a bunch of work, so I've got, I mean, it's 11. I've got till 2.5 hours until I need to, but I'm going to actually, I'm going to create a stopping point for this video just because it's like consuming, it's slowing a lot of things down, just consuming bandwidth. Actually, I want to get this presentation too right, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see what it's thinking. It's trying to figure out. That's what I was talking about. Like, okay, like, oh wow, look at that, bingo, it worked. Here, I'm gonna actually go. Presentation window 2 is prod. Okay. Boom. Boom. Okay, cool. So it pops over here. It was struggling to get the screen stuff right, just because I was. Oh yeah, this is the knowledge base. Yeah, see, I've got a lot to work on. She needs to have like a knowledge base. Like Marnie has a knowledge base, so you can see like she knows all about like LinkedIn. And this is just I just got started on this, but I have built half a dozen of these knowledge setup, these RAG setups. So like Penny needs to be like super smart about like strategy and AI and like what's going on. Like that's going to be her knowledge set. So there's a bunch to do. Like I may not finish it all like in the next couple hours. Like it could be, but it's close. And this is the last big piece for me before I feel like I can really launch everything. So getting this in place and then yeah. So the OBS setup worked. So that's cool. And then, yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty awesome. Like, it would be really a pain for me to figure this. I mean, sometimes you're like, yeah, I could just move that around, but actually, the round corners and just like having AI do the work, like once it figures it out and kind of gets better at it, like it does learn, and you kind of learn what it knows. And do I make the same mistakes over it sometimes? For sure, but. Yeah, so let's see. I'm Penny. Let's see.
Hey, welcome. I'm Penny Strategies Client Success Agent. Ask me anything.
All right. What's the most important article I can read that you have on file?
Best starting point: a short read on how we actually work.
Wow, look at that. That's like
Open the article and you'll see the 3 ways we engage.
It's like a fake
Hey,
article.
if you've got any other questions, just ask away.
I see, okay. So there's a lot to fix here, but it's making progress. I actually don't really like this because then it's like duplicated, but I do like that it's here. There's some question that, here's the artifacts viewer. This is cool. Yeah, a lot to think about. I really like where this is headed. But it's going to have less on the top. We need more space for the chat. I kind of don't think we should put the artifacts here. So I'm gonna just kind of bump off the show and do some things, and keep working on this. But this is actually a pretty good demonstration. I mean, honestly, like while being distracted, you can see I went from like a pretty complicated idea to like some, framing in some pretty good stuff here. And it's just going to be a matter of like, okay, how much time do I play with this until it really is, working the way I want it to? Cool. I appreciate everybody who watches this.